Greetings from ABC Acres. Even without my beard, I'm still Grant Shadden, and I'm here next to a couple of our pin cherries to explain this, what some might call strange method of planting two bare root trees of the same type in the same hole. Now, that may seem wasteful, but after an explanation, I think you might understand the reasoning behind it and come to appreciate even the results. Now I'm going to show another application where we plant two trees or shrubs in the same hole, but for a different reason. Now, if you think about a forest setting where you have the tall, mature trees, and then underneath, in a healthy forest anyway, you have some mid-range trees and then some very short young trees. And they're usually tightly spaced until you have some sort of disturbance event where a tree gets cut down or falls down, and then those younger trees start racing for that light, for that canopy. Well, taking our cue from nature, we've done the same thing here, and we've had some really great growth rate. These were about this tall, 14, 16 inches tall last year when we planted them as bare root tree starts, and a year later, our tallest ones are over 6 feet tall. So we had a single pin cherry we had planted in the landscaping around some farm buildings that literally only grew half as much in the last year. So we feel like our added expense in putting an extra bare root tree is justified. And by buying bare root trees from a wholesale nursery, you're saving a lot of money over buying potted trees from a local nursery as well. So we still came out ahead on the cost of our plant material. So the time has come to select our tree that we're going to keep and the tree that we're going to cut down. So I like this one. Its height is a little bit taller and it has a better form to it. So this tree is about to be culled and will be just cut up and sacrificed as some mulch material to continue to push production for our long-term tree. So I'll go ahead and cut that up, and we'll have our now long-term pin cherry tree after getting an accelerated head start of growth in that first season. Now, if you're going to do this, you want to make sure that you don't let them go too long, because that competition eventually will start to stress both of the trees that you have planted in your hole. So that's something to take into consideration as well. Well, I'm going to go and show you a different application in one of our tree belts now in planting two bare root plants in the same hole. Another spin on this same technique of putting two plants in one hole is where we put an autumn olive, which is a nitrogen fixing shrub, in the same planting hole as a maple tree, which is our long-term high value tree that we want in this tree belt. What we've been doing is simply a couple times a season coming and pruning our nitrogen fixing shrub. We call it chop and drop mulching in permaculture, where we chop and then just drop that plant material right in place. And what we're doing is we're building organic matter by introducing this mulch for sure, but we're also having this plant fix nitrogen right in the root zone of our maple tree, stimulating its growth. And when we prune this, we're also getting some root die off of the shrub, so it's releasing that nitrogen even more so at specific times of the year where we want to really push growth. So here right now in springtime, the temperature's warming up, we're getting some seasonal rains. It's prime time to really encourage growth for this maple tree. And once again, purchasing bare root allows us to save a lot of money on plant material to where we can do this. We can stimulate soil creation, fertility boosting for our long-term high value trees, our production species that we want to see take over our forestry systems. We've really been encouraged by the results that we've been seeing in terms of growth, where we've used these nitrogen fixing trees and shrubs as nurse species to nourish the growth in these early stages. And we'll come back and we'll prune this autumn olive again later in the season and throughout several more years until it finally just gets cut down completely and used as mulch once these trees and their canopy begins to shade out our nurse species plants like this autumn olive. In the meantime, it'll do a great work for us in pushing future abundance in our permaculture tree systems. Well, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below this video. And as always, thanks for watching.